On December 4th, 1963, 40 years ago, the newly formed Board of Trustees of Sandhills Community College met for the first time on the second floor of the Riddle Building in Carthage. That night, under the leadership of the board's first chairman, H. Clifton Blue, Sandhills was born. Within 30 days of that meeting, a president had been hired, an architect had been engaged, and land for the new campus had been secured, a campus which would be home to the first comprehensive community college in North Carolina. From those remarkable events would grow a renowned college, a college dedicated to providing opportunity and the promise of a better life for all the people of the Sandhills. This is a story still very much in the making, a story of visionaries who could see the future, of leaders who would frame it, and of generous benefactors who would help to ensure it, the builders of Sandhills Community College. It's a story of promises made and promises we continue to keep.
Raymond Stone became a part of our team here because he was one of the originators at the state level with Dr. Reedy. And we felt that somebody of that persuasion, who had not only the knowledge of what the state wanted to do, but how to go about it, would be a good candidate for our president. So he was approached on that score, and he jumped at the idea. The interesting thing that we started out with was we were told and began to plan for a student body of 400. Well, it didn't take us long to figure out that with all the addition of the other disciplines that we were going to have to put in, such as nursing and things of that nature, that 400 wasn't going to cut it. So then we jumped it to 600. And that's when things began to happen in terms of the buildings and things of that nature, but only revolving around 600 students.
In the early days of the college, the first classes were held downtown over Patch's department store, where before the buildings were completed, the college actually was in operation. I've known also on the school board Jerry McKeithen, and Jerry McKeithen and I were good friends. And so when the need came up for additional school space and an area for the community college, we started looking around for areas, and this area was of particular interest because we were looking for an area for a new high school at the time. And Jerry McKeithen and I one day talked. I said, I know a lady who has some land out in that area. And I said, I would be glad to go out with you to talk with her about this. And she was Mrs. C. Lewis Meyer. Mary Meyer was just a wonderful lady. So we went to see her, and she said, let me call you back. And in a week's time, she called back and she said, I would like to donate land for the college.
And so, with a president in place and a site for the new campus secured among the majestic longleaf pines, Sandhills got on with the business of creating a college. On a cold and blustery day in November 1964, ground was officially broken for the new campus. Governor Terry Sanford came from Raleigh to turn the first shovelful of dirt. On hand was Mary Luman Meyer. Also present were the Moore County Commissioners and the trustees, led by Chairman H. Clifton Blue, who had been so instrumental in creating community colleges for North Carolina and so committed to the location of one of the first of those colleges in Moore County. These were exciting times. On January 7, 1965, bids were opened for the first buildings. In early March, the bulldozers arrived and began clearing the site for the new campus. By July, the campus began to rise from the longleaf pine forest. It was clear right away that this would be a very special place. The architectural style would be distinctive, uniquely Sandhills, yet with elements taken from the community. The arched windows, long a Sandhills signature, were inspired by the windows of the Boyd House in Southern Pines, and the enclosed courtyards from a small restaurant in Pinehurst, now Theo's. Mrs. Meyer visited the site often to check on the progress of construction. Cliff Blue, President Stone, and Bob Ewing were also frequent visitors. In September 1965, while construction proceeded rapidly on Airport Road, 384 students were enrolled in the basement of Brownson Memorial Church. In that first year, students would take their classes in 9 different locations in Southern Pines. The college's first convocation was held that same October in the auditorium of the Southern Pines High School, what is today Southern Pines Elementary. The following spring, in March 1966, the ribbons were cut and the keys were officially passed to the college for the first building to be occupied on the new campus, Meyer Hall. On June 6th, the college's first graduate, Jean Waldman, received her diploma. And in September, students began arriving on Airport Road, full of hope and expectation, as they have every September since.
I moved to the Sandhills area in 1971 and went to work at the hospital. At that time, my father was one of the first business managers at the college, so I had some access to the college and decided one day I wanted to be a nurse. Sandhills gave me my start, and we're noted as the best program in the state, and we're noted as being hard, which we are. And I think I'm the only graduate that is also teaching at the college now. But from Sandhills, I went to First Health, and from there I went and got my BSN, taking my courses here on campus to get my BSN from Carolina. And then when I came to work here in 1988, part-time, I went and got my master's through the Duke program. So I feel like I've been to the three best colleges in the state, Sandhills, Carolina, and Duke. Without this education that the college offered people in my circumstance, who knows where I'd be today, and a lot of our students that graduate, because it offered a good way to make a living. So I think our college, I'm very partial to it. I think it's probably the best thing that happened to Moore County in the last century.
I started Sandhills while I was working in the horse community in Southern Pines years ago, just by taking a course here and there until I decided what I wanted to do with my life. I was able to bring my grade point average up to the point where schools would actually look at me, and I transferred out of Sandhills with my grades intact to Temple University. They accepted me after an interview, and I went straight to Temple and began school there. I think that Sandhills Community College is a great asset to the community because of its accessibility. It's not intimidating. I believe that you can go, you can be tested, you can wind up with the person that you really need to be with in order to get where you need to go.
I'm Alan Cope. I'm a second-year student here at Sandhills in the landscape gardening program. I'm originally from the Winston-Salem area. I came down here to go to school at Sandhills originally for the turf grass. But realized how much my love for the horticulture part of the industry, so I switched my majors and I'm here now. In the landscape gardening program, each student is required to do a 16-week internship in their last semester. I've been accepted to Longwood Gardens, which is in Pennsylvania. It's one of the premier horticulture gardens in the country. I'm very, very excited about it. I don't think I probably would have gotten in if I wouldn't have been here at Sandhills. The gardens at Sandhills are really, really great. I came down here for the first time and I was totally amazed of the quality, the design, and just how everything looks. It's definitely one of the best botanical gardens I've ever been into, and it's been a privilege to be able to work in them.
I was working at Stanley Furniture in West End, and the plant closed. I had worked there 14 years. And I knew that I couldn't get a job like I wanted. I looked in the paper and all the skills that was in the paper, I didn't have any of those skills. So I decided to come back to Sandhills because my daughters had come to Sandhills, both of them. And they've got good jobs now because of Sandhills. Well, this year I celebrate getting out of school, from high school, 40 years. So it was a scary experience because I was scared that I wouldn't fit in with the young crowd and I would look different. But when I came here, there were so many more people like me that got laid off at plants, and the teachers didn't treat us any different. This is a great opportunity for me, you know, to come to school and hopefully to get a job. It's just been like a journey. It's just each day is a new experience for me.